Hi, everybody. My name is Nancy Matherly from Desert Haven Enterprises, and today we're going to talk about drug use and how it can affect your career, and drug testing for employment and what that means to you. Drug abuse can ruin your career. People who abuse drugs might think it's okay and that their actions have no consequence. But drug abuse can ruin the lives of yourself and your friends and family. Plus, drug addiction can easily ruin your career. Drug abuse can destroy the start of a brand new job. If the drug abuse affects your job by coming in late to work or not showing up for work at all, you could easily get fired. Drug use could keep a worker from getting promoted or getting a pay raise. Drug abuse can cause the addict to lose their job. This has long-term effects. This isn't just something where, oh, I lost my job, but you don't know how far you would have gone in that job, and you don't know what you might have learned at that job. So you're setting back your entire career, not just that one job. It's hard to get a job again when you've been fired from a job. So it's best to keep your job and not get fired for any reason. Keeping a job while using drugs can be very tricky. If you're staying up late at night with drunk or drug binges, could mean that you'll be late to work or not show up at all because you feel sick the next morning. Attendance is the number one reason people get fired in this country, and drug use will definitely cause you to have poor attendance. Drug abuse also can ruin your life, which has effects on your job. Drug abuse creates many life problems. Money earned from a job often goes towards buying drugs instead of money that should be going to things like rent or your car payments, insurance, groceries. If you're spending that on drugs instead of the things that you need in life, that could ruin your life and your job. If you lose your house, having no place to live makes it very difficult to hold a job. It's tough. Drug abuse can ruin your life by having no money for food, makes you tired and grumpy at work, plus you're sick from being on drugs. Getting arrested and going to jail, it says could cause you to lose your job. It really does cause you to lose your job. Almost always. You don't want to get arrested. I want to talk a little bit about drug testing at work. Why do employers drug test at work? There's three main reasons why they do it. For productivity reasons, employers cannot afford to hire employees who do less work because they're on drugs, if they're slow or sick. For safety reasons, workers on drugs present a danger to themselves and the co-workers and members of the public. Employers cannot allow to put the safety of others in danger by drug abusers in the workplace. If you have a job driving or driving a forklift or using any kind of heavy machinery, being on drugs or even the next day after effects of drugs is going to be an issue. And then also employers test for drug use to lower their healthcare costs. Drug users are more likely to cause accidents on the job. They cost 4 times the medical expenses of the average employee. Workers' compensation will deny coverage if the injury resulted from the use of illegal drugs or alcohol. That means that your doctor bills may not get taken care of if you hurt yourself on the job if you've been on drugs. If they test you for drug use and they see that you're on drugs, then workers' comp isn't going to pay. Know your drug policies at work. It's best to stay off drugs, but especially when you're looking for work. Some companies test for only the hard drugs, but other companies also test for marijuana and excessive alcohol abuse. It's best to just stay clean. Some companies test randomly during employment for any reason at all, or just randomly, like once a month or something like that. Some companies also test if you have an injury at work. This is very popular now. Almost all companies are doing it. where if you have any kind of injury at work, they automatically take you to a drug test. And like I said in the previous slide, if it doesn't come out clean, they're not going to pay. Workers' comp is not going to pay for your doctor bills or your time off work if you've been on drugs. Pay attention to the company policies at your work when you start your job so that you know what the drug policies are. Drug abuse is dangerous, unhealthy, expensive, and could ruin your career. It's best just to stay clean and stay off of drugs. After a job interview, if the employer, the hiring manager, asks you to take a drug test, this is great news. Why? After the job interview, the employer sends you to get a drug test. That means they plan to hire you. Drug tests are not free. Employers only pay to drug test people they actually plan to hire. This essentially means you got the job, assuming you're drug free. So if you're in an interview and they pull out a piece of paper and they say, okay, take this over to the drug test place, yay, you got the job. Okay, it's a good sign. They don't send people to drug tests unless they plan to hire you. So it's a good sign. Do's and don'ts of drug testing. If they do give you some paperwork to go get a drug test, don't be afraid of it. It doesn't hurt, and the employer pays for it, so it's not going to cost you anything. Don't refuse to take a drug test. They'll just assume you're on drugs, and then they won't hire you. Do be prepared to go to a lab like Quest or LabCorp. If I help you get the job, then generally I will take you to your drug test. Do tell them about any prescription medications you might be taking, just in case it shows up in the drug test. Don't try to cheat or trick the system to hide your drug use. Just be honest and tell the employer, I'm not going to pass this drug test, and thank you anyway. But again, this is an example of how drug use can ruin your career, where here's a case where maybe you're not going to get the job to begin with. Could have been a great opportunity that you're missing out on, but because you were on drugs and you weren't able to take the job. Don't try to cheat or trick. There's a million ways to try to trick them, but the labs know. The labs sometimes will watch you while you pee in a cup. Sometimes they will put special chemicals or test the temperature make sure that it's a genuine urine sample. Some drug test labs use hair. I haven't seen that done in a while, and I think it's more expensive too. So chances are it'll be a urine test, but you never know. Be prepared. Don't be on drugs. Do be prepared to be observed during the collection. Maybe, right? And do be honest with any questions that they ask you. If you've used drugs several months ago, it's okay to say so. Hopefully they won't show up in your system and you're still able to get the job. Remember, drugs can ruin your career. Stay clean and get that job. It lasts far off into the future. It's not just about today, but any missed opportunity in your career could have a long-term ripple effect on your whole career. So stay clean and get that job. Thanks for watching.